So basically, we just want to keep an informal get together. So for me, as he said, I was introduced to Krishna consciousness by Dhananjay Prabhu. So my service to him is what he gave it to me, that I had to give it to others the rest of my life. I was introduced through the Saturday programs, Bhakti Yoga programs, these programs. So my desire and aspiration that I would like to do till my last day. My only aspiration is that, pray for me. If it is Saturday, if I'm dying, I want to do a home program on that. Because that's how I was introduced to ISKCON. That's my, there's no way I can repay. Any number of lifetimes I take doesn't matter. So, but it's a little token. So when he asked me to speak, I was just thinking what to speak. So then actually I was meditating on the chapters 12, which is a Bhakti Yoga, Devotional Service. Did anybody read that?
Yeah.
So that's very nice. So Bhagavad Gita, if you consider 18 chapters, the first 6 is a Karma Yoga, the last 6 is Jnana Yoga, the middle is Bhakti Yoga. It's like a sandwich. The core part is in middle, right? In that middle, so 12th is the end, the final. Before you start about Jnana, which is material nature, nature and consciousness, all the details of the Prakriti. And then before is the Karma Yoga, how Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna that he has to do his duty, karma, as is prescribed duty as a Kshatriya to protect Dharma. So Dharma doesn't need to be protected. Dharma is a glani. That means Dharma cannot, glani, which is abstraction, cannot stop Dharma. Temporarily it may appear to be, but Dharma is beyond that. Dharma is our nature. Who can stop? Who can stop our nature? Because we come from Krishna. Who can stop Krishna's nature? Nobody. But it appeared to be, sun sometimes appear to be covered by this cloud. But what is a cloud? Is energy of the cloud. So cloud takes the water from the ocean or the river, sun, and it creates the cloud. The same water covers the sun. It appears to be. But actually beyond the cloud, sun is always there. What is covering is our eyes. So Dharma cannot be covered, cannot be stopped, but it appears to be lost. So that's where he comes again. He start. When he start, he's not starting new. Whatever is already there, he just, like, we were there a few minutes before when you come in. We are not there, now we are here. When you go there, when we will not be here. That is our nature. That is, we are not God. The God can be all the time, anywhere he can be. That's one of the conditions. Like, we were never a God, we can never become God. So that's what he's talking about. How we connect to God. That's where Bhakti. He's talking about in Devotional Service, chapter 12. So in the chapter 11 is called Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. That's Vishwarupa Krishna. Arjuna asked, I wanted to see your Vishwarupa, material nature, your expanded form. So Krishna showed, and then he said, who is he? He showed entire cosmic manifestation, past, present, and future. So when the chapter is done, and then he concluded, whatever I said is okay, but forget it. Devotion service ultimate. That's where he says, Mat karmakut mat paramo mat bhakto sangha virajata nirvaireha sarva bhuteshu esha mamiti pandava. Work for me, free from the dualities, and then when you become a drida, form in devotion service, then you can come to me. Then you got a question. Oh, what you said karma before, dhyana before, and then bhakti, and then now I would like to ask you. That's where the devotion service first question in the chapter 12 starts. What did he ask? He asked, tell me the difference between devotion service, which is a personal aspect of how devotees worship Krishna as a person. Then he asked, and then there is also other people, they worship Krishna as impersonal Brahman, unmanifest, impersonal. That means something people think there is no God, but everything is energy. So he can assume the form of a God to interact with us so that you and me can relate. So that's called impersonalist. So that is not wrong, that's a temporary. So that's what he was asking. You understand the question? The question is twofold. One is, what is the best? personal aspect of worship to God or impersonal aspect of God. Then that's where the Krishna spoke very nicely. He said, yes, I'll just read out. This is a summary. Then Krishna said, impersonal aspect is very difficult and he's not recommending. He's not ruling out, but he's not recommending. He says, those who fully worship the unmanifested, which is lies beyond the perception of the senses. Senses only can perceive what we can perceive. I can see Mudanga. I can see you, I can see you all. I can speak when you speak, I can hear. The senses, the perception. So we have the senses and sense objects. Eye is a sense, seeing is a sense object. I can see through some of the senses, some of the things through my eyes. And some of the senses I use to smell. After some time we're going to have prasadam. So we may not see, if we see prasadam, we also can smell the taste. If somebody comes, I'll see. If I don't see, I also can see through ears. The ear is a sense, hearing is the sense object. When I honor the prasadam, I see, I smell, I taste. So if you cannot see, you can come here. So if you can make a circle, it's not many people, somebody can come here. So I always strongly believe if I don't see you, that means you don't see me. When you don't see me, you cannot hear me. That's how. So eye contact is very important.
No, I can see.
You can come here.
No, I'm fine.
So some of the senses we use for different things. What Krishna says here, the unmanifested, that's manifested, you're all manifested. Unmanifested means it is not there. What I said, we unmanifested there, we manifested here. That means we are not there, we are here. We are part of the Prakriti. We can only be one place. But Krishna is the owner of the Prakriti. He can be simultaneously everywhere. That is a personal form. So Krishna says the unmanifested, can be perceived, but beyond the senses. But I can think of unmanifest, but I cannot see, I cannot smell, I cannot touch, I cannot feel, I cannot possess, I cannot experience. You all with me so far? It's a little technical, we'll get there. And all pervading, like energy. It's all pervading. The air is all pervading, the light is all pervading, the cosmic manifestation all pervading, the radioactive waves are all pervading. And then he said, inconceivable, unchanging, unfixed. Inconceivable, unchanging. We already talked about inconceivable, unchanging. Nobody cannot create air. Nobody cannot create a space. It's already there. Even E is equal to mc squared. The Einstein said, energy cannot be created, energy cannot be destroyed. It can be given a form temporarily. You take some dirt, you take the water, mix it, make a form. You make a big, nice pot. You put it in an oven with air. You burn it, and then it becomes a shape. You use it for some time. After some time, you don't use it. You throw it. Earth particle goes to earth. Air goes to air. Fire goes to air. We are not creating air, we are not creating dirt, we are not creating fire. They are eternal. Amount is always 100%. It doesn't matter, we take something, it will not be reduced. That is energy of Krishna. So that in that sense, it is unchangeable, unfixed. The amount is always fixed. If you take something out, like from other universe, air is going to come. No, it's not going to happen. And then immovable. Air is supposed to appear to be moving, but actually it's everywhere. Right? It's a little difficult to understand. We'll see that. And then now, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons, all these things is eternal. That is true. Right? All these things eternal, and that is true. Those who follow this, Krishna says, eventually they will come to Krishna. He never said, he never abandoned them. He never said, don't follow. But I'm not recommending that, and it's very difficult. Eventually they will come. When? How? It's a long process. Like, Prabhupada always said, you have a 100-floor building, you have an elevator, and there is a staircase. Those who have passion, they can take the staircase, they can get eventually, may not. They can eventually. But intelligent people, they use an elevator, they go directly. So that's where bhakti. That's what Krishna said. The next, he also said, for those whose minds are attached to unmanifested. Some people, by naturally, they are inclined. How you're all naturally here because of somehow or other in the past, you started path of bhakti. It's not completed. So that's the reason we come in contact with the devotees, and then wherever we left, we start from there. If we stopped at 23%, even if we take a detour for million lifetimes. Neha vikramana pratyabhavana viditi swalpamapya dharmasya traito mahate mahe. That means that will never be lost. Jnana, you may have five PhDs. Next life, you have to start from ABCD. Like, jnana is lost, karma is lost, adhyana can be lost, but the symptoms can be saved as a pious activities. That will not be lost. The object of the jnana, that means we got jnana, we share with others, we get pious activity. That will come with us. But the jnana itself is lost. The jnana itself is lost, a karma, that activity is lost, but that activity may bring the pious or impious, depends on good or bad. So Krishna says, Klesho dikataram testam avyakta chastat chestam avyakta hi gatin dukkam dehavadvit vavapyate. That means this path is very difficult. It's not recommended. This is what he said, Krishna. Address Arjuna's question. What is that? Impersonal aspect. I'm not recommending. It's not the best. But eventually people can use that and they can get there. But however, he said, this is what I'm recommending. He said that it's a sequence of things. He said, fix your mind 24/7. Fix your mind on me as a personal, two-hand, beautiful Sham Sundara form. Engage your intelligence in Krishna. Buddhi Yoga. Bhakti Yoga also can be Buddhi Yoga. To fix your intelligence on me. What is intelligence? Intelligence is actually as a two quotient. The one is discrimination and reasoning and questioning. It's also the knowledge in the database. We use the database, right, in IT people. So the knowledge is already out there. We're not creating new knowledge. Cannot destroy the knowledge. Same thing. The knowledge is already out there. That depends on our piety and karma and desire, how much can be accessed from the database. That depends on our endeavor. So Krishna says, use your intelligence 24/7. Fix your mind based on Jnana Vairagya. We cannot worship Krishna hypothetically or sentimentally. It doesn't last for long. We have to use the knowledge. Why? Prabhupada always asks, when whatever you do, ask a question yourself, why you're doing that. Why are you going to temple? Why are you chanting? Why are you reading? Why you're not reading? Why you're not going to temple? Why you're not going to attend Premchandra Prabhu's conference calls? Or why are you attending? So you have to ask, that's reasoning, questioning, logic. Sign of intelligence is questioning. That's the reason Arjuna was asking all these questions. He was very intelligent. Sometimes after the class, we hear any questions? No. Either they are fully confused or fully understood. But either case, if they understood, they can comment. If they didn't understand, they can ask question. So very systematically, Krishna says, use it, fix your consciousness on me, and then use your intelligence. He also said, thus he will live in me without a doubt. He said that is the highest. If we cannot do that, Krishna is amazing. He's like loving father, mother. If you cannot do that, he said, fix your mind. If you cannot fix your mind, he says, follow the regulative principles of bhakti. What are the regulative principles of bhakti we follow? No meat eating, no intoxicants, no illicit sex, no gambling. That's a physical thing. Subtle thing, or also gross thing, is chanting Hare Krishna, associating devotees, reading, serving, sharing. So they are the principles of bhakti. By itself, if it is not connected to Krishna, has no value. You can chant Krishna's name millions of times, millions of lifetimes, but you may not get to Krishna. But what is objective of chanting? What is the objective of attending the kirtan? What is the objective of going to temple? If you have to understand. Otherwise, there is one party, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says, they started getting in the boat, and then they had to go to the next other side to attend the marriage party. They all sat there, the overnight journey in the Ganga. So they all sat there at night time. It was very nice breezes coming. They all fell asleep, and then the boatman is rowing. It's very nice, and it was rowing entire night. And then finally, they got up because the sun, Hare Krishna, sun came. They were there as where they were before. What happened? We were so nice. Things are going on very well. The waves are moving us, but we're not. He said. Then they realized they forgot the. They forgot to lift the anchor. So we can chant, we can read, we can hear, we can do all those things. What is the objective of that? So that's the second best thing. What Krishna says: follow the devotion service in a regulated way, prescribed way. Prescribed not by you and me. The prescribed acharyas. I can concoct my own thing. Like one time somebody said they went in Vrindavan. You want to chant 64 rounds a day. You want to live in Vrindavan, right next to Radhakund, holiest of places. Prabhupada said no. And then no, Prabhupada, I can do it. Prabhupada didn't say anything. Then he follows, the Godbrother saying, no, Prabhupada said, no, that is for you, not for me. We understand, but what he's saying is that it's not for everybody. If you can do it. He went there, he chanted for 64 rounds, 6 months. After that, no one said, oh my God, they got a flight from Golok Vrindavan, and he went back to Golok Vrindavan. No one knows, he disappeared. And then they were thinking, where is he? After some time, one devotee, he was driving in America. They went to one gas station, and he saw this guy, person, filling the gas. And what happened? I chanted for enough. So why? Because we want to do devotion service our own way. When we want, how we want, where we want. That's not what Krishna says here. He clearly says, follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain Krishna. That is the key. Doing is, the Krishna is very tricky. Develop a desire. What is the desire? The first step. Always 24/7 thinking about Krishna, engaging Krishna service, using your intelligence. That is the high. When we cannot do that, do this. But what is the objective of that? Think about that. I want, but I'm not there, but I'm doing this way. One day I want to get there. Then he says, when you cannot do that, even that one, he says, work for Krishna. Then you bring the Karma Yoga. Work for Krishna. Because we all have to work. Money is honey. Right? Money is honey. To get that honey, whatever we do, usually intelligence or skills, knowledge, facilities, or influence, because that all coming from the conception of our object or the desire to enjoy. Because we're so passionate to use all those things to work. He said, change I and replace Krishna and work for me. Do that for me. That's what he's telling Arjuna also. You don't want to fight because you fight for me. Kill your grandfather for me. Kill your teacher for me. Kill your brothers for me. Amazing, right? Because why? He says, for me. Because I want to work. I said many times this. I'll also say it again. One time I saw one friend in cafeteria when I was working nationwide. I used to do a preaching program in nationwide in lunchtime. So we used to meet the people and then sit together and talk about Gita. Then he came to temple sometimes. After that, I didn't see him. I asked one day, hey, what happened? No, you only said Karma Yoga. Then I read Gita and Krishna says, work is worship. So my work is worship. Krishna is in my heart. My heart is temple. My body is temple. My house is temple. I don't have to go to temple because I'm in the temple. Oh, very nice. I said, can I ask you a question? And he said, yes. Work is worship. Very nice. So you worship your work. What if your boss doesn't pay you? Do you still go to work? He looked at me. I said, can I ask you one more question? What if you don't perform, does your boss will keep you? He said, you got me. Not me. Krishna says, Yajnatat karmano nyatat lokoyam karma bandhana tadadharm karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Work is worship, that's correct, but it's not full period, it's a karma. Provided that work is offered as a sacrifice to me, then work is worship. We forget that karmanyevadikarasya. Work is worship. No, he said no. Work is not worship. It is not connected to Krishna. What he's talking about is that you work for me, thinking to develop the desire. What is for? Following the regulative principles. And what is that for? Ultimately to connect to Krishna. So by chanting itself, by reading itself, if it is not objective, Krishna has no value. There is no value. Prabhupada says you can chant millions of lifetimes. Hare Krishna, I can be where you are. Like I give an example of rowing the boat, but boat is right there. So then he further said, if you cannot do that, so then he said, engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. If you cannot do that, engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Now, karma yoga he recommended. After that, if you cannot do that, you jnana yoga. Because since we don't want to do reason, we don't have a knowledge, right? Ignorance. So develop some knowledge to understand, but the objective of the knowledge, you have to go back to the process. Then he also said that, next verse he said, but better than acquiring the knowledge is meditation, dhyana yoga. Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then Jnana Yoga. Then he said, better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of the action. Honey. We are looking for honey. Honey is money, right? Money is honey. So we are looking for that. So what he is connecting back again? In other words, he is not leaving the first thing 24/7. When I cannot do this, when I cannot do this, do this, when I cannot do this, do this. Ultimately, in between is connecting. So he is emphasizing again and again. Bhaktyakpa aham evam vidajuna gnadam vishnu tatvena praveshtuncha parantapa. Only through undivided, unalloyed devotion service, you can see me as I am. You can enter into the secrets of the realm of bhakti or love. So he was emphasizing, this is the recommendation. You're all with me so far, right? And then, of course, he said, but what? Then he further said, addressing Krishna, Arjuna's question, who's best? What he didn't directly said. The first is what is not best. He's recommending what is supposed to be done. Then he said, I'll just read. Fix your mind on Krishna. What is the best thing? Who's the best person? He said, okay, again, fix your mind on me. I'll always engage. Again, he's repeating. And then worship Krishna, giving up all activities unto Krishna. Use Krishna's words. Being devoted to Krishna without deviation, engage in devotion service, always meditating upon Krishna, having fixed their minds upon Krishna. Everything is repeated again, different words, right? And then those who are doing this, they should not be, you understand? Those who are doing whatever I said so far, they should not be doing the following things. Not envious, but kind to all living entities. The do's and don'ts goes together. Niyama agraha. But the focus should be do's. The don'ts automatically goes off. But however, we should have a knowledge about the don'ts also. Otherwise we fall into the pitfall. Right? So we know I should be going 65 miles per hour and 65 miles. But I also should know I should not go in 5 miles per hour. You can also, I'm not going 65, that's good. But doesn't mean that you go in 5 miles, 10 miles in the freeway. You can also get ticket. Do's right, but you should know the don'ts also. Right? And then, does not think of himself as a proprietor. That person will not think himself or herself as a proprietor. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Proprietor is Krishna. He is the owner. I am leasing it, this body, this house, temporarily. And the lease is ran out, I have to vacate. We should never forget that, right? Next, he said, free from false ego. That's very difficult. Ego is good. The false ego is bad. Ego means I am servant of Krishna. You are servant of Krishna. We are all servant of Krishna. That's real ego. The false, I am only the servant of Krishna is also false ego. Or you are only the servant of Krishna is the false ego. So how false ego is so subtle, so difficult to overcome. Every time. It says, I never read in Bhagavatam, but it is said by devotees, at the end of the life, when you finally go back to spiritual world, and the soul goes through all the heavenly planets. Even if you look at back, hey, let's see. No, that's nonsense. I don't want to get there. My goal is that one. You should always look forward.
It's like the exit on the highway. They will advertise, take the exit because there is some free orange juice or something.
He's good. He's saying good examples. He cannot even think bad examples. Just imagine with a Vaishnava Brahmin. Anyway, so, and that person will not put anybody in difficulty. And then he is also not disturbed by anybody else. He will not put others in difficulty, but he will not be disturbed by others, even somebody put him. Amazing, right? Krishna is covering all the ways. That means all don'ts are covered. The next is who is equipoised in happiness and distress. Amazing, right? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasochati Nakanksite. Neither he is anchoring or is lamenting, or she is lamenting. And then he is equal to friends and he has no enemies. Who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, the fame and infamy, all the dualities. He is always free from contaminating association. Always silent and satisfied with anything. Silent in the sense, talking the nonsense, not talking the nonsense, it's talking about Krishna. Prabhupada defined as silent means not keeping quiet. Mauna yoga is not silent. Mind can be thinking so many things. People can be mourning. I'm fasting from the food, but I'm feasting in my heart. Why she's like that? Why is like that? I'm Mauna. That doesn't have any value. The silent means stopping nonsense, talking about Krishna. That is silent. Talk 24 hours. That's silent, right? And then doesn't care for any residence. Of course, it's Babaji. I'm not there yet. I'm fixed in knowledge, who is engaged in devotional service, and always follow the imperishable path of devotion service. Repeatedly said again and again and again. Follow the principles of bhakti. Engage with faith. That's important. Initially he said knowledge, now he's saying faith also. And finally he said, make Krishna as a supreme goal. Whatever I said is a summary of the 12th chapter. Now you all know this 12th chapter. Who can conduct an exam? Or she can conduct an exam. She's good at that.
Exam is good.
Good. Okay. So now, because anytime I speak, if I don't say the story, I cannot sleep. Because why? At the end of the day, what you take home, not the technical things, but remember the story. So whatever we discussed, I will take one example from Mahabharata. This is my favorite. So then we summarize how, when Krishna deals with the devotees and he deals with the demons, we know. Prahlad Maharaj, Gopis, or Prachetas, or Dhruva Maharaj. But he also dealing with the Kamsa. But this situation, he dealing with the two devotees, and two or few devotees. I don't know whether you heard this story. Mayurdhwaj and Tambradhwaj. No? You're not here? Anybody? So then it'll be nice. We know it's not fun. Like, solved puzzle is easy. Once till you how is it? Once that's it. Right? So but of course we should not fall for that. No matter how many times, even though we know we hear it, we should take pleasure in hearing again. So Yudhishthira decided to do Rajasuya Yajna. You know the story, right? So now Pandavas, 4, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, they went in 4 directions: north, west, south, east, west. They started conquering. If what they do, they leave the horse. On the horse, they ride. If anybody is not opposing the sovereignty of the emperor Yudhishthir, we are friends. Give us the gifts. If not, you can fight with us. If you defeat us, your emperor. If we defeat you, then you have to be subjugated or follow the order of Yudhishthir. Very simple. So they leave the horse, and horse goes to the mountains, villages, towns, and then different emperors. And then now, since they know it, a lot of people are accepting, and sometimes there is a fierce fight. So of course, these are mighty people, mighty warriors. So they won all the wars. So this is going on for some time. Date is already set for this Rajasuya Yajna. So this is happening right now. So now we'll take example of Arjuna. Arjuna with his army is crossing one after one. Arjuna is a mighty emperor, right? Warrior, right? Nobody objected him. So this particular place, so they came. The place called Mayurdhwaj. Dhwaj means, it's a flag. Mayur means it's a peacock. So that kingdom name is Mayur kingdom, and the name of the king is Mayurdhwaj. Pure, unalloyed devotee of Krishna. Let me explain about him. He has a son who is called Tambradhwaj, a young, powerful, ferocious warrior. He always loves his father. And his father never rules the kingdom with a knife, but with the slokas, talking about Vaishnavas and Brahmins and doing this vrata, that vrata. Things automatically happens. That is his quote every day. Every day they don't talk anything else. Talk about Ramayana, Mahabharata, talk about Krishna. What he did, what he loves Pandavas. But he never saw Krishna. But he has a desire one day the Krishna come into my kingdom where I could see. But I don't have any qualification. I don't deserve it. I am such a fallen. But he has a desire. His son saw that right from childhood. But his son has a desire. I want to please my father. I wish I could get Krishna here. But how? It's very difficult. So this is happening on a daily basis. They think about him. But Krishna is the Bhakta Vatsal. He knows the heart. So Arjuna happened to pass this. You're all with me so far? Is it exciting?
Yeah.
A lot of exciting things going to come now. So now the horse entered into the kingdom. Tambradhwaj actually resting with his friends outside the kingdom. He came for some picnic thing. So the friends saw this horse. They captured it. Not captured it. They went and told Tambradhwaj, my dear friend, there's a good news for you. There was a horse. It's a Pandavas. It is passing through our village, our kingdom. As soon as he heard, oh my God, what a wonderful situation. But his intention or desire is not to conquer. Because if you know that, my desire is to please my father who is a pure devotee of Krishna. To bring Krishna, if we capture Pandavas, to save them, Krishna will come. But I'm not powerful at Arjuna, but my desire is powerful. He says, I'm not powerful. They are very mighty, powerful warriors. But I am not that. But I will challenge him. If Krishna so desire, if I can defeat him, to protect him, Krishna has to come. So what a pure devotee. His heart, even his profession, he is using in Krishna's service, which is Kshatriya, Kshatra. The one who has Kshatra is actually Kshatriya. Not everybody is just born in a Kshatra means one to protect the dharma. That's the reason in olden days they are allowed to marry 2, 3, 4, 5 marriages. Because why? When the war happens, they are the first people to face in the war. That's the reason there was a provision is given to them. Same thing with the ladies also. So as soon as the war is her husband is losing, they take the knife and cut it off the throats. How many people can do that? They jump in the fire. Actual Kshatrani. Not everybody can become a Kshatriya. Kshatrani, Kshatriya, and Brahmana or Vaishya in this age. Kalahi Sudra Sambha. Everybody is Sudra in this Kali Yuga. In the special Kali Yuga. Anyway, so Tambradhwaj caught that, and then he tied that, and then he was waiting for Arjuna. So eventually Arjuna came. Arjuna, he is a pure devotee too, but he has a little, because he's winning all the matches, right? There's nobody to, somebody obstructed his ego. Who are you to stop this? Do you know who am I? I know who you are. I know entire your background. Actually, you are Arjuna. Your brother is the same, but you are all powerful because of Krishna. We are also devotees of Krishna. So done is done. At least release the horse and surrender. I will pardon you. I will not fight. Why you're just, he just with the balak. That means you are just a kid. Don't fight with me. He said, forget it. Whatever you've done, it's done. But right now, I'm challenging you. Fight with me. So they discussed. Mahabharata explained very nicely. So after some time, Arjuna said, okay, decided. They started fighting. Neck to neck. But he said, okay, let's not involve warriors. Let's face only together. If you win, your kingdom is mine. If I win, your kingdom is mine. If I lose, then opposite. They made the truce and then started fighting. After minute, whatever he applied, like throw the astra, and then he was counteracting. And all astras are over. And then now finally Tambradhwaj won. Literally defeated Arjuna. Arjuna has no words. He is the warrior which never lost a war. He was defeated literally by a small boy, 18, 19 years old boy. And then in duel, not even a big battle. And he was literally in the verge of crying. Because what kind of a fool I am. I came here representing Yudhishthira. He's supposed to do the Ashwamedha Yajna, and then you should not have any opposition. My brother Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva, they're going to win. I am become the bottleneck. And then now what's going to happen? As soon as he thought, he started shivering. How can I show my face to my brother? How can I show my face to my dear brother, my worshipable Lord, my friend Krishna? And he started crying. In the meantime, what happened? Tambradhwaj left Arjuna, and he wanted to say the story to his father. He ran towards the kingdom. In jubilation, he was happy. I wanted to. He knows that Krishna will come. He's sure that Krishna will come now. So that is desire, like it's going to happen now. So in that full enthusiasm, he ran to the palace. In the meantime, Arjuna fell on his feet. He's crying. Then he thinks, Krishna. What do you think happened after that?
Krishna.
Yes. Why? What is Krishna's promise? Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajina namaskar. Think of me. If you think of me, I'm with you. You are with me. We are inseparable. They are also Narayana, So he said, Arjuna, what happened? As if he didn't know. Oh, then he has to say a story. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry, Krishna. I let you down. I let my brother down. I don't know what to do now. You are my shelter. Please save me. Don't worry. I can save you on one condition. You should not speak. Silent. What are you going to do? That don't ask me. All you have to just watch me what I do. You should never open. If you open the mouth, then I'll stop. I'm going to play a drama now. Exciting story, right? He said, okay. So then, with his mystic power, he became an old Brahmin, Krishna. He made Arjuna as a young Brahmin. He said, forget about all the astras and shastras. Even he forgot his flute. Because now he has to protect his devotee. He has to protect his devotee, and he's willing to do everything for him. Because he's depending on him, he is depending on him. So now he followed me. So they both went towards the kingdom. He left all the warriors. Okay, be here. Relax. So Arjuna is in anxiety. What's going to happen? And anxiety cannot even express. And that's other kind of a pain, right? You can see, but you cannot express. No emotions. So they started walking towards kingdom. In the meantime, what happened? Tambradhwaj went into the kingdom of his kingdom, his father chamber, and his father doing Bhagavatam, talking to about Krishna. He said, Father, I got a good news. You got a good news? Oh, did you see Krishna? Even good news he's thinking about, like, that it's going to happen, Father. What happened? I captured the Aswa, horse, which is led by Pandavas. And then he said the story. As soon as he heard it, he fell unconscious, his father. They sprinkled the water and what happened? You offended my dear senior brothers, who are the devotees of Krishna. As soon as if you are really my son, you could have invited him, worshipped with his feet, wash his feet, and then give the gifts, and then accept the sovereignty. Why did you fight? You disgrace me. He didn't even he's not allowing his son to explain what his intention, because out of love, no, you disgrace. Don't even show your face to me. Get lost. He didn't even complete. Father, I'm trying to do it for you. No, it doesn't matter. Your logic doesn't work. This is not right. 3 devotees. Everybody is equally pure. And then how? In the meantime, he was crying. My God, what did he do? He called his ministers. How are you doing at the time? I don't know. Are we okay?
Pretty good.
Okay.
We have to complete the story.
So more anxiety is going to come. So now their priests came, all this, the pujaris came, they were telling what to do now, how to come out of this. My God, what to do now? Arjuna is crying there. Now we have to go there. We have to say sorry and then fall at the feet. This is the plannings are happening. In between, somebody came, knock. What happened? Some 2 Brahmins came to talk to you. As soon as you came, okay, Brahmins. Brahmana Deva Go Brahmana Hitacha Jagat Hitaya Krishna Govinda Namo Nama. Krishna says, he speaks to the Brahmins, he eats through the Brahmins' mouth. Because Krishna loves Brahmins. Because why? They know who's a Brahman. Because not like that they have the 10 paisa thread. It's like they know the Brahman. That is the real Brahmin means. So they have the policy, the kings. Anytime they have a royal route, they can visit king anytime. Even the demons also has that policy. Even Jarasandha had that policy, right? So now these Brahmins came. Who was the 2 Brahmins? Old Brahmin, young Brahmin. Who were that?
Krishna and
Arjuna. So he didn't know. As soon as he saw them, he paid obeisances. And then he came. He said, Krishna paid obeisances. My name is Krishna Sastri. Krishna Sarma, sorry. He is Vishnu Sarma. And then he is doing Manu Vrat. He's not going to talk. Krishna said before itself. So we have actually come here asking some favor. He said, then whatever he's going through so much of anxiety. What happened? He just hold it for a second. That is the highest. Now he had to serve. He has to take care of Arjuna, but because of now, if you don't take care of this now, this is the highest priority. That's how sometimes priorities come to your life. What is right, what is wrong, when to do, what not to do. We have to use the higher intent. That's his approach, his guru. He says, yeah, right now take care of him. Right now it is immediate. So he said, we were actually coming to this city from a different far village. My son marriage is fixed. My girl is from this village. We, with all our entourage and all the people and the relatives, we started walking. We had a lot of people, and also in the bullock carts, we were walking for days and days to come here. Finally, in the outskirts of this village and the kingdom, so we were encountered by a big calamity. Krishna is telling all these things. So a lion attacked us. But we're all Brahmins, we are not fighters, we don't have any weapons. So everybody ran. And then, but of course, me, my son, and then we were all stuck. And then lion attacked my son. And then he's about to eat. Well, fortunately, that lion also speaks. Then I fell at feet of a lion. I said, eat me. It is not proper son die in front of father. It's natural that the old people die first and then young people follow. So that is a symptom of Kali Yuga. In front of father, mother, before the children's dying is unnatural. That is a symptom of Kali. This has happened in the previous days, Dwapara Yuga, right? At least Dharma was there. So now you eat me. Lion said, okay, that's a good proposal, but however, you are weak, you are old. He is young, he is powerful. His meat is more tasty. Please, it's not about him, it's about Dharma. I'm not talking about my son, but it's Dharma. So Lion also, okay, I understand, but I need somebody's healthy person's meat. If you can get me that, provided, better if you can get the king's meat. If you can get me the king's meat, then I will let your son go. He said, yes, that makes sense, because why? He's a king, we are also subjects under him. He's supposed to protect us. So wait a minute here. So I'll come back and bring my son. He gave the word, and then we came to see you, my dear king. As soon as he said, okay, let's go, I'm ready. No second thought. That's what he wanted, very simple. So take me. No, wait a minute. There is one more condition. We don't want your full body. Lion clearly said you only need half a body. Okay, half a body, no problem. Then he told his Sena Nayaka, which is like a command-in-chief, so bring the big axe, what do you call that, saw, and then cut me off, and then give it to him. And then before, if cut me off, I'll die, so I'm just taking the water and then accepting, okay, I'm offering it. Then Arjuna was actually boiling. He's a Kshatriya, he was a Vaishnava. He said, I don't want at this cost. He's looking at Krishna as giving the signal with the eyes. Krishna says, wait, don't speak. He could not hold, because he's another Vaishnava. I don't want to be happy based on the cost of this one. So please stop it. Please stop it. Arjuna is telling in whichever way he could without talking. Krishna is ignoring. In the meantime, he sat down, king, and then they brought a big saw about to cut. Wait a minute, there's one more thing. What King Lion said, I wanted to honor the meat only when king is happy. When he's cutting, if he's crying, I'm not going to accept. When he's cutting, if he cries, I'm not going to accept it. Then you should not cry, because you know why? Sorry, one more. I actually skipped. He said he has to be cut by his own son.
In front or by?
By. He should be cut into two pieces by his own son. The Krishna is making such a drama. Then so far the son was standing in the corner. He was holding what kind of a Brahmin he is. He's not saying anything because he loves his father too. He says, trash, this nonsense, this is not a Brahmin, these two are not Brahmin, they're actually making some drama, so I don't accept this. How can Lion, first of all, how can Lion speak? On top of that, how can it can be mad at the king's meat, and on top of that, someone has to cut. This is not. Then his father's shouting at him, you don't even deserve to talk. First of all, you disgrace me. Now at least it's an opportunity for you to wash your disgrace behavior. Cut me off. This is an order. This is the order that you take that knife and cut me off. And this Tambradhwaj was actually, my God, it's an order from his king, is his father, and then you don't want to do it. How can killing? Sometimes devotees, it's not that easy. You should be careful what you ask Krishna, right? So now he took that sauce and he was put on that, and he started. I have to cut it off, right? It has to go like this. As soon as he cut, the blood started bleeding. Then he was sitting there holding on to it. Naturally, it pains. So there was two eyes started bleeding. Then Krishna said, wait a minute. That's where he said, the lion always said you should not cry. He don't want the meat of the person who's crying with unhappy. He says, Krishna, please. I'm not crying. I'm crying because why only half body? Why only half body? my body has no value when I have not when I could not serve devotees. Lion could have taken full my body. I'm crying for that, not for pain. When he said that, that's where Arjuna broke. Krishna, stop it! I don't want. Let them win. Then what is he thinking? Who is Krishna? As soon as I said, then Krishna revealed, who is he? And Arjuna, they both came back to now. And everyone is thinking, what's happening? And then Krishna said the entire story. You are my devotees, you want me. He is my devotee. I had to protect him. I had to create this drama to come here. I empower Tambradhwaj to win against Arjuna. Arjuna can never be defeated, but he can be defeated with love. Just imagine this. This actually is the story in Mahabharata. In story, Tambradhwaj and Mayurdhwaj. There is also drama. If you can Google it, you can see drama. Amazing drama. I saw at least 10 to 15 times. My favorite. ISKCON Chaupati, they enacted this drama, 45 minutes. It's there in the YouTube. You remember Mayurdhwaj and Tambradhwaj, you can see. Govind Prabhu acted as a Krishna, old Brahman. It's very strong, So anyway, to conclude the story, what happens is that now, did you see whatever I said here? What are the principles I said here? Did you see all of them? How Krishna is reciprocating the devotees, how the devotees are reciprocating other devotees, and the devotees are reciprocating Krishna. These are three relationships. Among the devotees, and Krishna to them, and they to Krishna. It's actually cyclic. So beautiful. So that is the summum bonum of the Bhagavad Gita. In the middle chapters, out of middle chapter, the conclusion is the Bhakti Yoga. Only love and devotion we can attract Krishna. And Krishna is the Bhakta Vatsal. He's not Kama Vatsal, he's not Jnana Vatsal, he's not Dhyana Vatsal, he's not that and this Vatsal. He's only the Bhakta Vatsal. What is Bhakti? Bhakti is very simple. Using our senses to please Krishna's sense. Based on Jiva Goswami. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says that. Using our senses, pleasing Krishna's sense, which is chanting, reading, association, hearing, sharing with others, honoring prasadam. Whatever, but objective of that is supposed to be Krishna. That's basically what I wanted to share. Any comments, questions, corrections?
The essence, what is that? Using our senses to please Krishna, but to
Yes, Krishna's senses.
Krishna's senses.
You're chanting, you're a good singer. So you have hands, you have intelligence, you have the facility. So now you're using all those things, cooking for Krishna. So what Krishna does it? With his senses, he takes it. You're singing. So you're singing, you're using the mouth for singing, so to hear, Krishna can hear. So in that sense, using our senses to please Krishna's senses. But Krishna's senses is not like our senses. We only see through eyes. We only smell through nose. We only eat through mouth. Krishna can eat through eyes. He can walk through his ears. He can speak through his hands. It is Brahma Samhita. What is that verse, Prabhu? Angani yassa sakalendri vittimanti pasyanti yanti chiram jagan. He has the senses which all other senses objects also can be done in any other sense. That is another reason we are not God. If somebody says he's God, then he has to eat with his nose. And then talk to the legs. And then we can believe him.
Like Krishna's name is Hrishikesha.
Hrishikesha, master of the senses. Yes. Very nice. Any comments, questions?
What does,
Yes.
what does Krishna mean by devotional service in this? As per Bhagavad Gita itself, is it using our body and senses, everything in service of him, or what exactly he means by devotional service in the Bhagavad Gita?
So that's what it clearly says. Mat karmakut, mat paramo, mat bhakto sangha virajitaha. Work for me. Whatever you do it for me. Mat karmakut, mat bhakto. Become my devotee. Think of me all the time. Sangha virajitaha. That means devoid of false prestige, free from dualities. Love everybody because everybody belongs to me. In that consciousness, You are with me. You are in union with him in essence. What is Krishna? By nature, he is always loving. So now, media is love. We want to love him, and everything belongs to him. The Krishna conscious means the conscious of everything which belongs to Krishna and Krishna himself. But how do we do that? That's means through which we do. The chanting, what are we chanting for? Krishna's pleasure. We're hearing. So anytime you read, we read as a pleasing service to Krishna. I am reading not to get jnana. That's not our objective. We're decorating not to get me feeling. So it gives pleasure to Krishna. I'm cooking, driving, maintaining the family, even having the bank balance or working. I'm reading. Anything, in other words, whatever we read, we should read in a conscious that I'm going to share with others. Anything I read, I want to get knowledge, and then next few minutes you'll forget. You're hearing a lecture. So my friend is not here today. The other devotee is not here. I'm listening here so that I can share with the people who are not there. Or else I want to share with others. That should be a motive. I want to take mercy. I want to hear. I want to chant. It doesn't last for long. I'm going to temple. What for? To give pleasure to Krishna. I'm dressing very nicely. Because why? It gives pleasure to Krishna. That is supposed to be the consciousness. Whatever I do. The Krishna conscious means the conscious about things. How I speak, how I talk, how I behave, how I move, how I react, how I see the things. Then Krishna says in the chapter before, what he says? I'm the taste of the water. When you see the water, you say, hey, it's a Krishna. When you see, when I feel air, nice breeze, we can feel Krishna. So anything we do, somehow connecting. That is Krishna consciousness.
I have two more questions.
Go for it. I love questions.
So, Krishna is saying that be equipoised in happiness and distress. Okay, this is something very tough. I want to see what is the.
I accept.
Yeah.
Very tough.
Why is Krishna saying how is it to achieve that? Basically, how to treat happiness and distress equipoised. Basically.
So it's a practice. It's a practice. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's a practice. Like that's the reason it's a Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga leads to Bhakti. Yoga means to link. Bhakti is a practicing what is favorable and rejecting what is not favorable. Right? When we're practicing certain things, object of that is yoga. Yoga means to link to Krishna. Right? So now, how do we equipoise? For example, tomorrow you got $10 million. I got $10 million. Emotions, feelings, no feelings. I got $10 million. Okay. And when next day tomorrow we lost $11 million, for example. $11 million lost. I'm just saying an example. We got promotion or we lost job. Or something happened. Somebody is diagnosed with cancer. Oh my God, they're going to freak out. Naturally, why me? Immediate thought, why me? Why not that person? He eats all the time, eats and he always drinks. Why he's not getting? The devotees, I've seen sometimes when they got to go, thank you, Krishna. Because it's very easy to say, but we're not there yet. At least I'm not there yet. But Krishna's also understanding is not possible, but it is not impossible. It can be practiced. So that's where a sadhana. And then if your ground is strong, then I give an example. If you go to Moorfield in California, there's a trees. What is that? Mayurthwaj, sorry. Yeah. I'm just thinking Mayurdhwaj,
Mystery point, Prabhu, mystery point.
Yeah, that's a trees which is 5,000 years old, 6,000 years old. Redwood forest.
I've been there recently.
Recently?
Yeah.
So there, it's actually in the mountain. Can you imagine? On the mountains, not that if it's a flat surface, it's different ups and downs in the mountains. And then in California is prone for earthquakes. Those trees, at least the trunk, if you see actually off of this room, so huge, so strong. And then they were there for thousands of years. And then now they were doing research. How is it possible? And then there's many trees. If you come after that, you can see trees fall off, right? In the forest, you'll see that. But that particular area, it never falls. They did study. You know what did they do? their roots are not growing down. They actually spread and they tie with everybody, neighbors, and then they tie with neighbors. So they were connected together. So now, because why? Their foundation is strong. The reason we freak out as soon as we hear the bad news, and at the same we will be totally jubilant when we have good news, because we don't have the strong base. If you have the strong base based on the knowledge and sadhana, jnana and vairagya, and then know that is possible. So even if you see, Krishna spoke entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, right? So but battlefield happened. 13th day, not 13th day, 13th day, when his son Abhimanyu was killed by 6 Maharathis, very brutally, it's not in a dharmic way. Arjuna was crying, and Krishna also started to, he was also crying. Arjuna asked, I am crying, there's a reason, because my son died. Why are you crying? He said, I spoke entire Bhagavad Gita. After hearing that, you are doing crying. By looking at, I'm crying. So now, just imagine, he is a yogi. Even it is difficult for him. But that is a standard we have to aspire. But if you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Haridas Thakur, same Brahma who could not control, but when he became a devotee, he became a Haridas Thakur, he was equipped. Prahlad Maharaj was equipped. Bali Maharaj, these are Mahajans. Bhishma, he was standing opposite to Krishna, he was fighting Krishna, he was even piercing Krishna's body with the arrows. We worship Krishna, right? What is he doing? He's piercing Krishna's body. But what is the object of that? To please Krishna. Of course, he's Kshatriya, he can do, we cannot do. Anyway, so that's quite possible, but very difficult, but it's not impossible, equipped. But that address your question. That means that's
Kunti Maharani also, she's praying
yeah,
for that.
Kunti Maharani is actually praying for that. Let the calamities come again and again. In that calamities comes, and then I cannot turn to anywhere else other than you. Then if I remember you, you are with me, I am with you. So there is no question of suffering. So that's the other way. What is the other second question?
So Krishna in the last chapter is saying about just surrender unto me, right? What is the actual context, or what is the bigger meaning about the surrender unto me?
I have to tell a story.
Okay, we will take it later.
Small story.
Oh.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
So, same question asked by, this is what in scripture says. If somebody asks, they will never say this is the answer. They say this is the same question asked by so many people. And that question asked by somebody. So now, there was a devotee who came to Ramanuja. His name is Dasarath. He came, Guru Maharaj, I'm reading Bhagavad Gita. I came to this verse 65. Sarvadharmam Parityajya. What does that mean? And then Ramanuja started meditating on to answer. In between, suddenly one girl came, running, crying. And then Ramanuja said, what happened? So she is actually daughter of Mahapurna, who is actually Ramanuja's spiritual master. Spiritual master, that means he took Diksha on behalf of Yamunacharya. Very well Pandit. So his daughter came and running. Because she considered him as uncle. Because she literally grew up watching him. So what happened? So I got married, you all know that. I went to village with my in-laws, but they're treating me very bad, my husband, and I'm 24 hours, I'm doing all these things, and then no matter what I do, they'll never be happy. Always torturing me. I need help. He looked at him. Okay, why don't you go with her? We'll talk later. He didn't say anything. Why don't you go with her? We'll talk later. He said, okay, Guru Maharaj. No second thought. You understand? You'll understand at the end. So that Dasarathi followed her. She didn't even ask who is he. You understand? If you meditate and you understand. She didn't ask, he didn't tell. But things are happening. So he followed her, and then she took him to her house. They introduced him as a servant. My father sent as servant. So he is doing all she's doing it. Getting in the morning 4 o'clock, taking care of all kind of things in the morning, fetching the good outside the village, fetch the water, come cook, wash the dishes, clean, feed, everything is done, clean the house, entire day. And when you get an opportunity, eat something, take rest. Day after day, week after week, month after month. 6 months passed. In the meantime, by doing that, he was doing such a love, so the people consciousness also changes over the period of time. No matter what, somebody is always trying to or ill-treat us, but somehow if we're trying to nice, one day something happened. So things are happening, so his load is also reducing, and they're also trying to get better. So one particular night, they arrange a Harikatha. Olden days, like the villages, at the end of the day, some scholars comes, they talk about. So that's what's happening. So all they said, okay, today leave, we'll all go listen. We'll go to temple. We'll listen that pravachan. So the daughter-in-law, son, husband, entire family with Dasarathi, they all went to temple. They sat there, and then this person was sitting there and talking. Wonderful. Talking after some time, he started talking about impersonalism, because he come from Shankara Sampradaya. You are God, I am God, everybody is God, there is nobody God. Merge into God, everything is done. Dasarathi said, no, this is nonsense. What you said is nonsense. You said, who are you? Somebody said he's a cook in somebody's house. See, what is Kali Yuga? Somebody's cook also can speak like this. Then it doesn't matter who speaks, and then I'll challenge you. Then the debate happened. He literally defeated him on the name of a Shastra. Left and right, he quoted Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Vedas, everything. Then he has no idea. He explained systematically. Everybody applauded. Yeah, I think this is nice. What his explanation is right. That person has get humiliated, and then he has a sense. He fall on his feet. I'm sorry. Who are you? And then somebody came with him. Then he can. Oh, he is the great Dasarathi. He's the disciple of Ramanujacharya. He's a great scholar. Oh, he's a Dasarathi. Everybody knows who is he, but no one knows how does he look like. And then including his family. Even she didn't even ask, right? Oh, Dasarathi, he's my God, my father's god brother. Disciple. They fell at feet. I'm sorry. We didn't mean to say do this, but I'm sorry. We are totally okay now. You can leave. Please don't. I said okay. And 6 months he went back to spiritual master, paid obeisances. He says, okay, Guru Maharaj, I'm leaving. So you got the answer? He asked him. Yes, I got the answer. Now we got the answer. That is the meaning of Sarvadharmam Parityajna. Means there is no I, me, mine. Very simple. There is no I, me, mine. Abandon. Don't plan. If something comes, don't reject. Do pleasingly. As whatever I do as a service to him, in one sense. But you got the point, right? So that is exactly the meaning of Sarvadharmam Parityajna, through the action. If you remember this story, then you remember. There is no personal agenda in one sense. So what is your question?
So about personalist and impersonalist, can you talk about that a little more?
Okay.
So yeah, we always read this word, but
Yeah. So personalist is called Dvaita philosophy, which is Ramanujacharya, Vishishta Advaita, and Madhvacharya, and then after that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Achinta Beda Beda Tattva. In these three philosophies, they say God is a person, like you and me. You and me here because we have our parents. They are existing because they're parents. If you go all the way, there got to be some source. And at the same time, he has energy and energetic. Bhagavatam explains, Vadanti tat tat vidas tat ech vijnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdaye. Absolute knowledge is actually understood in the three forms. One is Brahman, which is effulgence. The second is Paramatma, which is a localized aspect. I'll explain. Third is Bhagavan. For example, you're walking towards a city. From far away, you see like in a big cloud, big buildings. You don't see anything else. As you go near, then you see the buildings very clear. As you go near, then you see there's a life inside. The people are there. So first is Brahman. That means everything is effulgence, energy. But they understand that is energy, energy only, but the source is there. The source is Paramatma. He is also there. Everybody is heart, and he's also everywhere. It's a localized. If you go further, but he has the relationships. There is a Paramatma in you, there is a Paramatma in me, and there is also Paramatma separately existing, which is called Bhagavan. Bhag means opulence, one means the possessors. Everything, he has opulences. We are also his opulence. He is also our opulence. Opulence means it's like, possessing something. So that's a personal aspect. So we reciprocate, like how you have relation to your wife, how you have relation with you, and how we relationship with the friends, relationship with him. So they treat God as a person. That's a personalism. And then anything you do, activities based on that conception. The impersonalist is the first aspects of it. That means God doesn't have existed as a Paramatma or Bhagavan, but as only Paramatma, Atma, Brahman. Everything is. But right now, but because of desire, because of karma, I happen to be like this, you happen to be like this, existing. But however, this is called Maya. This is not true. It's actually false. Kaivalya narekayate. That means to make it right, so I have to kaivalya. That means I have to disintegrate my existence. But right now I cannot do that. But doing it, I cease my existence. I'll merge into the Supreme Brahman. So that's impersonalism. Impersonalism, the personalism. Object is loving service. Is also object. Why? I, me, mine. That's why. Because there's only two parties, Democratic and Republican. So you voted Republican. I'm just giving an example because I hated Democratic. That means I'm not voting them lovingly because I hate them. Same thing. I want to merge in God because I had a bad experience. There's no love there. So I have an objective, the motive behind merging in God. So that is the reason the person will not stay there for long. So it is explained in Bhagavatam. They finally merge. The Krishna says that is possible. So they merge, the soul merge into that energy. They are there for eternally for long period of time. But however, the soul by nature is seeking pleasure. Everybody is looking for unlimited happiness. That is our nature. So now that soul is in a dormant situation, in inert situation, and there is no activity there. But eventually the desire comes again. I wish I could do this. As soon as the desire comes, they fall as a drop of water. It is clearly explained in Bhagavatam. They enter into the earth, and then now that will be absorbed by the root of a tree, and then that enter into the tree of fruit, and then the man conceive the fruit, it becomes even enter into the female again. So that's the difference between personalism and impersonalism.
So is there any religion or any book or any sect that believes in personalism?
You can count, I'll start telling you now. Buddhism, Chenmaya Mission, Ramana Maharshi, Vivekananda, and then Nityananda Swamigal, you name it, there's so many people. They're all Shankara Sampradaya, they're all fall to that impersonal pictures. If you read them, they read exact Bhagavad Gita, exactly Bhagavatam, the object is different. Only Sri Sampradaya, Ruddha Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, and then Kumar Sampradaya, or any Vaishnava Sampradaya only accept God as a person.
There is one more actually.
Okay.
And you talked about it before. Mind and intelligence, can you just tell the difference again?
Okay. So mind is mode of goodness, intelligence is mode of passion. So mind is supposed to be subordinate to the mode of intelligence. Hierarchy, soul. Soul is covered by consciousness. And that consciousness aspect of ego. I am soul, I am servant. Then that become a false ego. It can be good. So when it is good ego, so that is coupled with intelligence, which is buddhi, right? That servant of intelligence is mind, which is master of the senses. The master of the sense has many senses, which is all of the senses and sense objects work under mind. The mind work under intelligence, and the intelligence work under ego, and the ego is a consciousness of the soul, and then the soul is the owner. So now that when ego become a false ego, intelligence and the mind flip over. Intelligence becomes the subordinate to the mind. The mind says, hey, I want to eat this, I want to go there, I want to have that presence. So intelligence says that, no, it's not good. There's no voice. No, what, that's bad. Head, just do it. That's what mind says. The intelligence keep quiet. Because intelligence by nature is only two things, discrimination and reasoning, based on the knowledge. Mind function is thinking, feeling and willing. It is done in sankalpa vikalpa, which is accepting, rejecting. Mind functionality is sankalpa vikalpa, accept, reject. That's what mind is looking at me. Why are you looking at me? Is he with me or not? He's smiling. Maybe he's my friend. She's not smiling. He's not. It's exactly the mind says sankalpa vikalpa. Anything, mind is continuously making the decisions.
Better everybody's mind.
Everybody, he's with me, she's not. With me not with me or not. With sankalpa vikalpa. Based on that, thinking, feeling and willing. That the aspect of the mind, aspect of the intelligence is reasoning and discrimination. So that is the difference between mind and intelligence.
And people are born with intelligence?
Yes, everybody are born with this hierarchy. The soul, ego, soul, consciousness, ego, intelligence, mind, senses, sense objects.
So intelligence is attached to soul?
Yes.
It's
So
a
when
part of soul?
when the body dies, material body, the senses and the gross body gone, but it carries the symptoms, the propensities, desires, inclinations in the form of a mind. It carries the subtle body. There's three bodies we have. One is the gross body, which is what you see. Subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The owner is spiritual body, which is the soul.
Soul and Paramatma are different.
Yes. Atma, Paramatma different.
Yeah.
Paramatma is God. The soul is
Individual.
servant, individual. There's the three people here: the soul, and Paramatma, and this material body. Any other questions, comments? He's laughing. Are you with me?
So that you think you are his friend.
Yeah.
You said you have to smile.
This is your friend.
Yeah,
Sorry.
When we,
Sorry, I said the other way.
Okay.
when we go to the spiritual world, we leave mind and all the bodies behind.
No. There will be. Spiritual body has a body mind. The way we have material body, so now mind will be purified. Intelligence will be purified. The same, what is the mind is energy of Krishna. What is intelligence is energy of Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. A soul is a part energy of Krishna. We are tatastha, like your internal energy, which is spiritual world, external energy, which is prakriti, middle energy, which is the tatastha sector, which is material energy, atma. So that we have this faculty of all these things, senses, sense objects, mind, intelligence, the false ego. It doesn't matter which species we are. But right now it is contaminated. Because why? Consciousness is polluted. As soon as consciousness is polluted, is purified with the Krishna consciousness, the same mind is purified and same intelligence is purified. And then when you go back, we use the same thing there. Because in Krishna's Golok Vrindavan, the people are there, they have all these things.
But the ego is also carried in them.
Ego is purified from false ego to ego.
True.
I'm a servant of Krishna. You are a servant of Krishna. You are better than me.
Okay.
And he thinks I am better than you. That is identity. The identity is never be lost. That is our nature. That identity expressed in 5 ways. Neutrality, which is stones, trees and birds in spiritual world also. And the next is Dasaras, which is a master and servant relationship. And the next is Sakya, which is the friendly. And beyond that is Vatsalya, wife and husband, friend, mother, father. Beyond is Madhurya. So based on desire and purity, so one of these will be acquired there. And with that particular body, we have all these senses, but purified senses, spiritual. So that's what the impersonalist says. We are desireless one day. No, there is no desireless. There is no mind intelligence. That is art of mind control. Who can control the mind? Mind is Krishna's energy. Nobody cannot control. But we are trying to control based on our desire. Krishna controlled for us. Nobody cannot control the mind. Arjuna says, I can create the wind out of nowhere, the Parvatastra, Agneyastra, so many things. I cannot control my mind. He says, that's true. Because why? That is my energy. Krishna says, my energy. Who can control my energy? Can anybody control the tornado? Can anybody control the tsunami? Who can control mind? It's a bogus if somebody says control the mind. But knowing the knowledge that I cannot control the mind, but I need the mind purified, so I'm trying my best to show Krishna, please help me. So he, like, for example, my son Parikshit wants to lift a bucket of water. He cannot, but he's trying. I stand behind, I hold his hand, I lift. He says, hey, I did it. But who did it? That is the concept. So he does. When you're chanting, it's not like, but our chanting will save us. The mood in which we chant, that's what will save us. Because why Krishna will save us? I can prove, I'm a great singer, I'm a great this and that, I'm doing all this, and Krishna doesn't even look at us. What are we going to show? He's giving the energy to speak, he's giving the energy to move, he's doing everything. All I have is only my desire. He says when the soul is encapsulated in the body is like a puppet. We cannot do anything. I cannot even move this one without it. If somebody has a paralysis, hand is like this. Because why? Because of the pious activities, impious activities, they don't have power to lift. Krishna, as a Paramatma, is not granting the power. When I move, that means he is giving me the power. Because why? I have a desire to move it. Then he will check based on my karma. This person can move or talk or eat or whatever he eat, digesting it or not. So besides that, other than desire, we do nothing. Why to take credit? Give the credit to him. So we are just the puppets. Okay, so we'll end here. Oh, sorry. Last question.
Yeah, through impersonalism, the concept is merging with Supreme Brahman. But through personalism, with the devotional service, what will happen? The essence.
Serving. Living in the same place, like where he is, and serving him. Like in a finger.
Mm-hmm.
So finger thinking, I'm doing all the work. Hand is eating, feeding the mouth. Mouth is eating and the stomach is happy. I'm not going to help. So I'm going to do strike. So finger fell off. But what is the value of finger which fell off? What is the value of a hair which is fell off? As long as we put the color, we put the shampoo, we do so many things. If it fell off, what we do? We put in a trash. There's a purpose for the hair, the purpose of the finger, there's a purpose for us to serve because we are part and parcel.
Yeah. So the personalism ద్వారా ఏమైతుంది అంటే మనం ఇప్పుడు
We go back and resume our service. Whatever there is one.
we are doing here.
Yeah.
Say, oh.
There is one particular service by each person in spiritual world that nobody else do. You do one service to Krishna that nobody else do. He does one service but nobody else can do or will do. When we left him, that service is waiting. He's still waiting for that service. After millions and millions and millions of times, Bahunam Janmanamante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyante Vasudeva Sarmayati Samatma Sudurlabha. Then finally we come, then we take the devotion service, become strong, practice seriously, sincerely. Then when we go to spiritual world, Krishna is waiting there. My child, I'm just missing you. That service is waiting. So we'll go back and continue the service.
Yeah. If we pray Shidi Baba, what is that process? That is.
So Siddhi Sai Baba is a Sadguru, right? He's a demigod.
Mm-hmm.
So if you pray sincerely, I used to follow Siddhi Sai before I come here.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't consider him as a god. I consider him as a guru.
Okay.
So Guru's purpose is to put him to God. So he put me to the path, right? This path. He put me to Krishna because why he always read Bhagavad Gita. But I've seen a lot of my friends, Sai Baba disciples. I told many times, if you follow Siddhi Sai Baba, follow what he does. He read Gitas. What is in Gita? Krishna. Very simple. Anything you do, any demigod, even Prabhupada is not against demigods, but why you? Because people worship demigods for something which is temporary. Like Ravanasura worshipped Shiva. Why? Because he wants Sita, he don't want Ram. That is the mentality of worshipping the demigods. They want Lakshmi, they don't want Narayan. No, we worship Narayan, Lakshmi automatically comes. We are not looking for Lakshmi, she automatically comes. That is the difference. Demigod worshippers, they have an objective. What is that for me? That is wrong. Because even the powers what they're getting is coming from Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. The people are worshipping anyway, but that's the indirect way. But at least they're doing something. But they are better than impersonalists. They are worshipping the person.
Yeah, that's what I want
Yes,
to know. That,
because that's a
that-
transmigration.
That Shri Baba, that puja
Mhm.
is different from.
Yes, different at the same time. It is better than
That is
impersonalism.
that
No, that's a personalism,
Okay.
but it's better than impersonalism.
Oh.
The somebody is thinking there is no God, I am God, everybody is God, but he wants to merge in the God. From there, after many lifetimes, they come to worshiping the demigods. But after worshipping, they'll also fed up with that because they are not getting what they want. Then eventually, if they are serious, they will put him to Vishnu Tattva.
Because the soul is hankering for something.
Soul is
else.
hankering for that, and then naturally they'll put him to Vishnu one day. But why we had to wait for that day when there is right now it is available? So that's where intelligence.
Prabhu, one simple question. What is spiritual pleasure? Like when we talk about the final, people say serving you get pleasure. How do you describe that pleasure?
We not describe. That's very tricky. So I'm chanting. I give an example the other day. I want to chant Hare Krishna. I'm feeling happy. That's bogus. Perfect bogus. 100%. We're not chanting. We're doing devotion service for pleasure. We're doing initially as a duty. The pleasure automatically comes. Why? When I wanted to serve you, your son or daughter is serving you, or being nice, or you're serving Krishna, to make him happy, happiness automatically comes. Sometimes we serve, doesn't matter, we don't feel like happy. Sometimes it's a horrible night because I was in a production call, I didn't have a time, it's night 11 o'clock, now I was so tired, I'm hungry, but only 12 o'clock is only, I have an hour and a half left, I had to chant my 16 rounds. When everything is good, everybody does it. But that is the situation now, I have to still chant. Body is not cooperating, hungry, angry. Time is like, somehow or other, Krishna, I want to chant. That's what we are giving pleasure to Krishna. Devotion service is giving pleasure to Krishna. By giving, we automatically get. We will not look for that. When we look for that, that's not devotion service.
I think he is also asking, when you get that pleasure from Krishna,
How does it feel?
how do you feel? What is the
How do you
feeling?
decide?
Yeah, how do you feel means you want to serve more. When the opportunity comes to serve, you are ecstatic. Somebody asked this question again to my spiritual master. He said, how do I know I'm on the right path? How do I know I'm in the right path, which is bhakti? I'm doing it. He says, whatever you have done yesterday, willing to do today and ready for tomorrow. That is the test. I cannot fool all the time. Arey, Prem Singh Prabhu calls me this time. When he calls,
I don't call anybody.
I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving an example. Like, next time he calls, Mr. Call, hello. If I'm doing that, that means I didn't understand. When I go to temple, somebody says, we're chanting what we are asking for service. When somebody comes and gives a service, you know what, actually something else is there for me. I'm busy. Sometimes it could be genuine, but we have to check ourselves. That is bogus again. The devotion service means, that's called, I use two words. It says fair weather devotees, sunshine devotees. When everything goes well, wonderful, Prabhu, Haribol, Mata's Haribol, so wonderful. Something happens, hey, I'm in the airport, can you pick me? I don't know, I actually have something else going on. We'll see sunshine when everything is good. We see a lot of times, even the Nemo devotees. We should be careful.
So Prabhu, my question was like when we talk about material happiness, we can relate it to absence of pain or achieving something which we think is better for us, which increases longevity or gets you permanence. But when we talk about the essence of spiritual pleasure or the tattva, which from which we are getting fulfillment. So what are the qualities of how
Very
do you
simple.
describe
Very
it?
simple. So you're hearing kirtan, Prem Singh singing. So you feel happy.
Yes.
What is that happy? What you're feeling? When you sit there, you're hearing music is nice there, the feelings is there. That's happy you're experiencing. When you're honoring prasadam, you feel the taste. You feel satisfied, content. When you see your wife, children, when you're together, when you feel happy. What is that happiness? Is actually a feeling happens inside when you're content, that coming from the heart, that you already have it. Everybody experience, otherwise no one will be sitting here. Otherwise, on Friday nights, a lot of people are doing so many things. Why do you sit here? Because you have that experience, that you're looking for that again. We all have that. That experience, it cannot be explainable. Only it's experiential. Experiential is called experiential. So like,
Just like you're hungry and you're eating and you're feeling satisfied.
Yeah. How we explain?
How we are going to explain that?
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, Telugu Anubhuti.
Yes. So that's called devotees celebrate even small things. That leads to big thing. Not look like I'm looking for a Krishna coming in a Garuda Vahana is taking me. It's not like that. A little thing. Somebody says something, feel happy. Celebrate that. Like it's not like no. I mean, I'm personalist. I'm a soul. Somebody say happy birthday. No, I'm not the body. No. That is not like if emotions, feelings. Okay, so thank you. We can talk during the show. So it's very nice talk. We can talk for hours and hours. Amazing, right? We can talk about Krishna for hours.
Thank you so much.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Srila Prabhu ki.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasati Gaur Bhakta